Carson in the second series takes that unfortunate hit, which, still fires me up when I think about it. But at the end,
should have been flagged, should have been fined, right? You can say it. They know.
Anyway, so we get in a situation there where we have to still keep our priorities intact.
Howie Roseman, Eagles general manager. I tried to get him in trouble with the league office to get him to publicly criticize the failure to flag or fine Seahawks defensive end Jadeveon Clowney for the hit on Carson Wentz that knocked him out of the playoff game. He didn't bite. The Eagles won that division. It was a division the Cowboys should have won, could have won. They had it in the palm of their hands. They blew it week 16 in a loss to the Eagles, and the Eagles held on to win it week 17 and then lost, obviously, the next week in the wild card round at home. Do we think the Eagles, and Chris, I'll start with you. Where are the Eagles in relation to last year? Are they same? Are they better? Are they worse? You said in relation to one of the other teams, if you aren't getting better, you're getting worse. What are the Eagles getting?
I think they've gotten better. I do. I mean, listen, we could talk about the first two picks of the draft right off the bat. They were a little controversial, certainly. Did we all agree with them? No, but I think they're going to help the football team regardless. I mean, Jalen Hurts, we know, is a weapon and going to be able to be used in a lot of different ways. Jalen Reagor, a little controversial, is the 21st pick, but still a guy that can make things with the ball happen with the ball in his hands and get open to be a weapon for Carson Wentz. So I think between that and then a sneaky, really good free agency, I look at this division and I just go, yeah, Philadelphia is really good. They have a premier quarterback. They have a quarterback that I would say is not in the top 5 of football, but he's somewhere in 6 through 10 in Carson Wentz. And, when you talk about Javon Hargrave, Jatavis Brown at linebacker, the Darius Slay trade, a few other things to shore up that secondary that hasn't been that great the last 2 years, I do look like the Eagles. It looks like the Eagles got better. And to me, it's Eagles and Cowboys in this division. I think they stand above the other two significantly, in my opinion, at this point.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree, other than I'd probably give the Cowboys a pretty good edge right now coming into this season. I like a lot of what they've done, even though I thought that they should have gone defense with that first pick. As great as the receivers they picked is, the fact is, there's a good chance, in my opinion, they're going to be a top 3, top 5 scoring team in the NFL this year. If that's the case, I think it's going to be incumbent on them in this weird off season to make sure that this defense gets built to the point that they can play solid enough to support an outstanding offense. And when I look at the Eagles, I look at a team that has had some mighty struggles in the last 2 years to finish 9-7, both years. And, I think coming off their Super Bowl, they did everything they could to keep everything moving in the right direction. But in the NFL, man, you never, ever stay the same. You never pick up where you left off exactly the previous year. And I think the Eagles right now, they've made some significant improvements. And look, the one other thing I would say about this division, Washington's front seven is going to be really, really good. And, that could be the single best facet of any team in the NFC East this year. I think their pass rush, I think their interior is really good. So they're going to be hey, listen, those 2 games against Washington that Dallas and Philly have this year, those are not going to, that's not 2-0 for a 2-0 gimme for each team.
Yeah, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but when you look at what Nick Bosa did as the second overall pick last year for the 49ers and what Chase Young could do as the second overall pick for Washington this year, it cements that front seven. And if you can create havoc, if you can disrupt the opposing offense, if you can force turnovers, get short fields, get more points, your offense is going to look a hell of a lot better, even though there are real questions about that offense. And I think between Washington and the Giants, that gives them the edge as the team that could rise up in this division. And Chris, I agree with you. You've got the haves and the have-nots, the 2 at the top, the 2 at the bottom. But I think Washington does have the better chance than the Giants to bridge that gap and maybe disrupt the conversation, the presumption that it's going to be the Eagles or the Cowboys winning the division. Chris, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Washington's going to be I do think the whole division got better. I do. I mean, I expect the New York Giants to be a pain in the butt, too, certainly. You know, got some help on the offensive line, and now you're going to be able to let Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley go to fulfill their complete ability. You know, last year it's tough to be really awesome when nobody's blocking for you a lot of the time. But the Washington Redskins, you know, to what you guys are saying, I think you're spot on. I mean, they have a game-changing unit in that defensive line. I mean, they will be able to play through their defense, let alone guys like Kendall Fuller and Sean Davis and Thomas Davis signed in the offseason. This is going to be a very formidable defense that, yes, can win them some games 16-13, 17-14, whatever it may be. But I'm with Peter more than anything. I look at the Cowboys, and I think we all sit here and went, man, they have a talented roster. And I just think with Mike McCarthy and the added juice to a new coaching staff, and Mike, you heard me complain all the time last year about that Dallas Cowboys defense. Same defense every play. And they just had way too much talent to let up some of the yards and points they did in certain games. Mike Nolan being there, he's going to throw plenty of curveballs on a week-to-week basis. So I think it'll be a highly competitive division. Man, is there a lot of good offensive, defensive linemen in this division. I mean, these teams value battles up front, but I do think Dallas has had a huge offseason and a great draft. I mean, get CeeDee Lamb at 17. I'm with Peter. I wish they would have got maybe a defensive guy too, but CeeDee Lamb's one of those guys that's just too hard to pass up.
You know, and to hear you guys praise the Cowboys, I agree with that. Let me just say this real quick, Peter, and then we got to hit a break. The Cowboys are paper champions, it feels like, every year. They look great on paper every year. They got to figure out this Dak Prescott situation. We spent the whole segment on the NFC East, and none of us raised Dak Prescott. And I just thought of it now. Like, your starting quarterback's not under contract, and you continue to delay, and the cost keeps going up and up and up, and what the hell are you going to do, and when are you going to do it? July 15 is the deadline that is blaring out there. If they don't get a deal done with him by July 15, does he just hold out a training camp in the preseason? Maybe he will.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.